Hello and welcome to Secrets of Stand-Up. I'm Rich Williams, aka the Pun Professor, aka the Premises Prescriber. I'm just kidding. Should you work clean or work blue? I'm going to break it down. A lot of comics think working clean means you just don't swear. That's not accurate. Working blue, and there's a whole long history to why it's called blue or ribald comedy. It's not just swearing. It's talking about anything that isn't considered an appropriate topic for polite company. So you can't talk about sex, no dick jokes, no drug jokes, no drinking jokes, really. You can't talk about taboo subjects. You can't do any material that is in any way controversial. You have to be very clean. I think if you're able to work clean with all those restrictions, definitely do that. But especially start off doing that, because once you get into the dirtier or blue territory, it's hard to come back from that. There's plenty of comics that are 100% clean that are famous. Brian Regan and Jim Gaffigan and Gary Goldman, they're probably the top three what I would consider clean comics. All three of them are hilarious. They're not considered corny. Clean comics get that bad rap a lot of times. It's not fair. In my opinion, again, all of this stuff is my opinion, it's way harder to be clean because you're not shocking them with a taboo issue. You're not saying a word that will naturally get the audience to laugh. Because, I mean, making people laugh without all those other shortcuts that us blue comics rely on is very hard. But you're going to get way more opportunities. You could do corporate gigs. You could do cruises. And cruises are a little bit different because they do allow some dirtier comics. It's kind of like the movie rating system. There's PG, PG-13, R. Once in a while, I think there are some cruises that have an adults-only, like X-rated show. I always laugh at the idea of X-rated comedy. You're just talking. They're just words. I've never been able to be a clean comic because I talk about crazy taboo subjects, controversial subjects. I curse. I can do a whole hour without cursing, but something that's just very clean, I never found an angle into it for myself. That's not the type of stuff that makes me laugh. When I watch Gary Goldman, that makes me laugh. But as far as my mind works creating material, for some reason there's a disconnect there. I like dark humor. I like gallows humor. I like making fun of the depressing things because that lightens it up for me. The reason why you want to start off clean if you're going that route is once you get into the dirtier material, because it's easier, and I know some people may say, it's not easier. It's fucking easier. Come on. Once you go down the track of dirty, you get used to a certain type of laughter. And most of the times, it's a bigger release for the audience because they feel like with the dim lights and they're having a couple of drinks, they can loosen up. But man, when I did some corporate shows as Bill Clinton, I was treated like a superstar. I was doing the road, my regular act with Clinton at the end, my impersonation, and that opened doors for me. I'd make like $500 a week. They'd put me up on the nights that I was there. I'd get free meals, a few free drinks at the club. I did a 10-minute set in Scottsdale, Arizona. They flew me out there. They put me up in a 5-star PGA Tour resort where they had a PGA course. I think it's called the Scottsdale Princess. I went up for 10 minutes. They gave me $2,000. I mean, the money is so different. There's this one guy, Don McMillan. He's been doing corporate shows. I think he was formerly an engineer. He was on America's Got Talent I think one time really big, and then he went back for like the best of. At the time, back in the early 2000s, I think his quote for corporate shows was $10,000. I'm sure it's gone way up since then. He did a lot of commercials, so that helped, but he's speaking directly to those audiences, and he uses PowerPoint and slides, and it's all clean. And he's doing material that is tailored to his audience. It's usually a lot of engineers and corporate people at those shows. I had a taste of the corporate world because I would go in and perform as Bill Clinton. But even that was super hard for me. This was before Clinton-Lewinsky scandal, before that happened. But Clinton was still known as a guy who chased women around, who cheated on his wife. And so a lot of the jokes would lend themselves to that. But I had to stay away from it. And so I struggled because it's not my type of humor. I didn't know a lot about political, like economic policy. And also I was new, so I didn't have the skills. I can write clean stuff. I mean, I wrote for TV for 13 years. But for my act, I made the choice that I'm going to go the route of a mainstream comic where I can clean it up if I get a Tonight Show set or a Conan O'Brien set. But for a nightclub act, anything goes. I guess the main thing you have to consider is whether or not you want to create more opportunities for yourself or if you want to limit them. So you can be famous as a clean comic and be considered outstanding amongst your peers, and your peers can be George Carlin and Cat Williams and Eddie Murphy and Lisa Lampanelli, all those dirtier comics. Nobody thinks that Brian Regan is a slouch. I can't imagine what he would say if he was a blue comic or a dirty comic. I've just never thought of him like that. I just thought of him as an awesome comic who happens to be clean. If you're clean, you can open for more comics because no headliner is going to want to follow somebody who's super filthy or super controversial, especially if they're a clean comic. I remember I was opening for Jeff Dunham on the road, and I was told ahead of time, hey, be clean. You have to do clean sets. And I thought it was just swearing. And I got yelled at after one of the shows because I used to do a joke about how candy was inappropriate. And the end joke was my mom brought me into a candy store. She said, son, you want a blow pop? I'm like, no, that's your job, mommy. Maybe he would have stayed or something like that. And it was reported back to me that I was saying a joke about sucking my dad's, I'm like, that's not the joke. It's a play on words. But that's how seriously clean comics take it. And Jeff wasn't even totally clean. And then we worked together years later on the Best Damn Sports Show. And I was helping him out try to get on this other show. But yeah, if you can work clean, do it. If you're not a clean comic, don't give the clean ones a hard time. They've made a choice in their career. If you're a clean comic, don't give the ones who aren't clean a hard time. They made a choice in their career. We shouldn't be at odds with each other. It's all tactical. It's the way you want to express yourself. It's being free to do what you want to do, what fits your personality and the way you operate in the world the best. Again, you could be a clean comic, and if you're funny enough, you can perform anywhere. You can perform in a church. If you're not a clean comic, you're limiting yourself. But the laughs a lot of times are bigger from what I've experienced. Choose wisely. This is not just your craft. This is not just getting laughs. It's a business. You need to make money doing this. You need to, when you reach my age, have some money put in the bank. Comics don't have health insurance. They don't have guaranteed work. They don't have unemployment a lot of times. being clean doesn't mean you're selling out, but it does mean that you might make a lot more money in the long run. So choose wisely, comics. That's it for this video. I make a video every day. I drop it at 11 Eastern, 7 days a week. The videos don't do as well on the weekend, but you know what? When I'm watching a show that I like if I'm listening to a radio show and then they don't play it on the weekend, I get annoyed. So I know why they don't do it, but I'm doing it. For the people that are the hardcore viewers of this small channel, I'm doing it for you. And I'm also making 100 videos in 100 days. This is video, I think 52. It's probably my 38th or 40th in a row. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.